So I'm a forester on the National Forest there, so I know the land pretty well.
Hey guys, welcome back to Training Wild Burros. We are here with our special guest, Chris Griffith. Did I say it right?
That's it.
Yes. So we are going to talk about pack burros. What else did I say we're talking about? No, I forgot. Pack burros, and I think just getting them ready for packing, right? Like what to do to get them ready.
Yeah.
I think those are the two things. So Chris is here for a gentling camp. We just finished gentling and then some additional training for Clark and Vander, who their new names are.
Clark's new name will be Pondo or Ponderosa, and then Vander's going to be Aspen.
Nice. I love the tree theme. No, we had a was it 4 donkeys we did the tree theme? Was it
Ponderosa girls.
Ponderosa Pine?
Nice.
So we had Pon. No,
Fond.
Fawn with Fonderosa.
Okay.
So it's Fondo, Rosa, and Pine.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. Yeah, I'm a forester, and so it all falls in line. My dog's named Timber, and so it just kind of
Okay.
goes down.
It's easy. Yeah. You have children?
No children. I do have a boss. My boss's daughter's name is Pinion, though, for Pinion Pine. So
Okay.
there you go.
I like it. So we're talking about packing. So you have not packed yet.
I have not. Nope. Just backpack hunting, and so this is just kind of evolution in it.
And you
Okay.
want to be able to use the boys to pack out your elk, right?
Yep. Pack in my gear and then pack out some elk. Yep.
Heck yeah. Well, big old Clark's gonna be good for that.
Oh yeah,
He's a stout boy.
he is. Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah.
So preparing them for doing this, especially focused on the wild, right? So the wild, I want to make sure I can catch them in a variety of different places. Like right now, we can catch them in the wild pens. Then when we are graduating ours to get ready to handle real life, then I'm gonna put them like in our 2-acre pasture, so it's a little bit bigger, but not like 8 acres to get run away from us on. And you might not expect people to just walk out there and catch them in there because they might be nervous about that. So it might be letting them out into a little bit of a bigger area and then luring them back into the wild pen. And you're gonna want to make sure you're putting them in a wild pen when you first get home because they trust Dan and I, and they're pretty lovey-dovey with you.
Yeah.
But we still want to be ready for things to go backwards a little bit.
Sure.
And then graduate them when you can catch them easily in there, then let them out to something bigger and then lure them back in, but you can still play with catching them out on pasture.
Yeah.
But we've experienced them not always being willing to do that.
Well, what was it? I think it was Pondo. Is that Clark's new name?
Yep.
Pondo, when he's out there doing the obstacles, he got a little frisky.
He pulled away from
Yeah, we had a full blown trail break, but he only went from here to that shed, and he was being chased by a big long black snake that was attached to his chin. He decided that was a bad idea and just stopped it. It was really easy to walk up to. Just continued with the training, but it was nice having the security of the 2-acre pasture, so he's not really loose.
Right.
He might think he's wild and free, but he chose to come back to a human.
when he got loose, I didn't even try to go catch him. I'm like, I need to shut the gate going out into the north pasture because then there's like what 8 acres or whatever there. For
Yeah,
him.
it's bigger. It's a much bigger task. Yeah.
And then all the mules, donkeys, and horses are out there, so that would be a lot of extra stimulation.
Sure.
So I guess that's something to think about too. How much stimulation are you presenting to them when you're trying to do something new? We want to just create like a ladder where we just keep one more step. We can handle this, we can handle that. And then as we get these base ladders that we can, the smaller steps, when we can do that, we know we can start adding more scary or more of the unknowns.
Yep. Now with Pondo, when I introduced him to packing or being packed, he was at first at liberty taking a blanket.
Yes.
And then we put the blanket away, and then he was tied. So I want him to experience 2 separate stimuli. Being tied is a stressor. And then when he's calm being tied, then I can introduce the blanket. And after that, he was just, he cruised.
And then let's talk about why to introduce them without being tied up. What is your viewpoint on that?
I think it's more of it's low stress. They're familiar with me standing there holding a lead rope. And also, if things get a little exciting, I can have a little control.
Well, if they're at liberty, you kind of have no control.
Well, there's a lead rope.
Oh, you were doing it with a lead rope, a halter and a lead rope.
Yes,
Okay.
yep, yep. Yeah,
When
I'm
you say
sorry.
Liberty,
Yeah,
you just not tied, like not hard tied to something.
I guess I think of Liberty with no halter or lead rope. And I started Vander Aspen with no halter or lead rope.
okay.
And then I started tying that. We want them to have the choice to go so they choose to be with us, right? So we're watching for all those little tiny signs. When I approach, if he's leaning away, it tells me he's a little nervous. That doesn't mean necessarily I should stop, but I need to be aware he's getting ready to go.
He's absorbing a lot of rabbits.
Yes.
Yeah.
So rabbits, if you don't know what that is, it's not even from us, it's from a different trainer.
It's from Warwick Schiller.
That's who we first heard it from, and I don't know if it's from him or somebody else though. But Warwick Schiller, he's awesome. Have you heard of him? He's totally awesome. He talks about every time you see something scary or your animal does, it's like they're taking on one rabbit. And maybe your animal can handle one rabbit or half a rabbit, or maybe they can handle 10. So they see the rock the 10th time and all of a sudden they explode, or they see the rabbit. The 10th rabbit, they were fine with rabbits 1, 2, all the way up to 9. But on that 9th rabbit, they're like, oh, I'm so scared.
Yeah, I can't handle any more rabbits. That's it.
It's like,
So
that's weird.
people get frustrated and like, well, what's wrong with my horse or my animal? Why it's seen 10 other rabbits today? Why is it freaking out over this one? It's the same rabbit. It's just it can only handle absorb so much stress.
So when they become stressed, we need to do something that is more mild so they can come down from their stress. And you saw when we were playing with Aspen, Vander, like we started trying to play with his ears and he's like,
Yeah.
but then after a little bit, I'm like pulling out the wax and wiping it on his fur. And that's just going like a little at a time so that they can graduate to being okay with more. And they need to have little breaks in between that. Otherwise, they get overwhelmed. And what happens when a donkey gets overwhelmed? You know,
Hold down.
they freeze.
Okay. Shut
Nothing.
Just shut in.
Nothing happens when they're over.
That is the people like that.
Yeah.
Now, neither one of yours are like you have fight, flight, or freeze. I guess yours would both go to flight. Like when we were making them do obstacles, I say making, but when we were doing obstacles with them, they both tried to pull away. And Clark was successful. Hondo was successful pulling away from me. And then Dan took over because he's stronger. So that right now is their go-to response if they get really nervous. I'm out of here. And I think doing enough stuff with your donkey so you know what their go-to response is ginormous.
Yes.
With Richard, we found out that he went from shutting down, and if he couldn't shut down, then he would go to avoidance. He would try to leave, and then if he couldn't leave, then he would go to fight.
Yeah. He had a lot of fight in him.
He did. He had a lot of opinions. But we want to know what their go-to responses are because then we can be prepared for it. You know, if you're going down the trail and all of a sudden you see like this whole jumbled mess of trees that you have to cross over, you're going to be like, okay, where's the easiest path? We want to set them up for success.
Yeah, and just from that short period of time down there, you can really tell how different their personalities are. Like,
They are
all of
very
them are all so different. It was just very interesting, just that brief interaction to see that.
Some definitely just have more curiosity. When we went into the wild pen, and we were getting creeped on by a whole slew of donkeys,
Really?
untouched wild donkeys. Like, sneaking fun on us. And then we moved our arm or something.
I pointed and they all failed.
I think bringing the donkeys to as many different experiences as you can. So, like, let's say you start off and you're doing stuff in the wild pen because you're dealing with a wild donkey. They graduate, they're doing well, you feel confident. Now you bring them to a little bit bigger pasture. You bring them to another spot on your property or to somewhere else. Like, where else can you bring them to get them more experiences? When we first would go out, like with Seamus, well, heck, I had been walking him like a dog. I actually walked him with my dog, and we was like heel to toe the slowest walking. And if anything happened, I had to get home. We were still on Seamus's time. It did not matter. So take them on as many experiences as you can. With either one of yours, I think if you and your wife were going to walk them, I would have one person walk the dog and one person walk the donkey to begin with. after a while, you could walk them both at the same time. But you will want to just make sure they're okay before you set them up.
Yeah, the last thing I'd want to do is get him out there for the first time and have him take off on me, and then you just locked your donkeys in the middle of the forest.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
There was a story on Facebook or something here a year or two ago of an elk hunter's gentle wild feline burro got loose from hunting camp,
And was like living with a herd
and
elk.
then they found it like years later living happily with a herd
I
of elk.
saw that. That's pretty wild. Yeah. That's pretty wild. Yeah.
I
I
can
don't
see how that would happen.
Yeah, that would be nerve-wracking to say the least. Lose a critter in the woods.
So I guess with that note, tie them up. Make sure you're good at your knots. Do you already know your knots?
Not enough. No,
We'll
I
teach
definitely
them.
got to practice some knots.
Yes.
Definitely got to practice some knots.
You know, one time Stormy got lost in the woods for 30 days.
Mhm.
And the person who found him was like the camp cook or something. And she had tied up, or that camp cook had tied up their horse. Their horse got out of their halter because it wasn't the right size. And then because her horse had gotten away, she rode Stormy back to where we were.
Yeah, an outfitter found the horse that was missed for 30 days.
Wow.
And it was a cook's shift was over for the month, whatever, and wanted out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the only thing he hoped his horse is saddle broke. She rode it out the dog.
Yeah, so be good with your knots, tie them up, make sure your gear fits properly.
And be mindful of when they're tied up to see who fiddles with the rope. Some will fiddle with the rope till it's untied. Some don't pay any attention to it. So just be aware so you get blindsided by someone untying a rope.
They do it too.
Yeah.
James has gotten really good. I have to do special knots on his.
Good to know.
It was Richard that's been biting at his lead rope.
Was it really?
I was watching him. I'm like, what do you think you're gonna undo yourself? Like it was clear he kind of thought he would be able to do something there.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to remember which donkey it was. So obstacles, there's obstacles you can set up in your yard. We have some tires. Like Dan loves this when I do this. When we go change the tires, I bring home the garbage ones.
Yeah. You know those tires, the tire shop charges you to get rid of. You're like, I got them for free. So the point with the obstacles is not that you're going to encounter tires out on a trail.
Right.
Okay. It's confidence building. It's coping skills.
Mhm.
How to interact with something unforeseen. So just every little bit you do, even though you'll never see it again on a trail, it'll help.
Simulates downfall or something like that.
Exactly.
And something unfamiliar that's intimidating to them or scary to them. Because obviously the tires aren't going to hurt them, but they don't know that.
Sure.
And that downfall, they might be like, oh, that looks too tall. I just don't know if I can do it.
We made a creek out in the pasture the other day to get the guys to cross it. So we'll do that again. Hondo was pretty brave, like, going over it, water. Aspen was a little less enthusiastic, but he did it.
And you know, he did it once. He realized he couldn't evade. So he tried to evade, like, I'm going to go this way or I'm going to go that way. And I would just keep pulling his head. So I wasn't like just pulling on him saying, you're coming with me. I would just get his head kind of facing the direction I wanted him to go, and I would beat him. And once he found out he couldn't evade, he walked over it.
Mhm.
Hondo, though, jumped over it. He was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
He was clearing some air. And I guess there's a good thing to know when you're doing that stuff backcountry.
Yeah.
They might jump. Make sure their stuff is on securely because they might jump and have everything slide. That has happened to us, not the jumping. Well, no, Penny would jump too.
Penny was a notorious jumper. She didn't mind water, but she was going to jump over it. So you'd find out if you had a packing issue on the other side.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
had Penny's pannier slid sideways.
Mm.
Were we
Upside
carrying
down?
elk?
Yeah. Yeah. She was nice. She didn't react. That's the donkey part of it, not reacting.
Right.
She just froze up. I'm like, what happened back there? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like you really just want to try to give them as many of those experiences in this controlled environment before you take it out and put it to work in the real world for sure. As
Yeah.
many of those obstacles and all those types of things you can to help to build those coping skills, I guess. Yeah.
Absolutely. And when you're crossing something that's intimidating to them, doing it once and being done while they're still elevated is not necessarily in your favor.
Mhm.
So they go across the, let's say the water, they go across the water once and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared. And then you're done. Well, they were scared and then you're done. They got to be done while they're scared. And then what do they remember? They remember how they felt when they were with you or in that environment. So doing it over and over, like if they're jumping or racing past it, do it often enough that they can just walk across it.
Okay.
Now, sometimes you're in the backcountry and something was intimidating and you know you're actually in the moment. You're on your haunt. You don't want to spend going back and forth across this creek 10 times so your donkey's all nice and relaxed, right? So do it while you're practicing at home.
Yeah.
Mm. And being okay to walk away and then come back to it. I was doing an obstacle trail course through our horseback riding group. So if you have a horseback riding group,
Mhm.
totally join it.
Okay.
Not all horse people love our donkeys, but we can show them how good they are because they all love Seamus. They're just like, Seamus is so awesome, right? But he didn't used to be. It used to be heel to toe walking. um, but we were doing a trail course and I had wild donkey Bahala with me. And there's this like, maybe it was 8x8 sheet, just you had to walk up onto, just like a little raised platform. And all the horse people are standing and I think I'm leading her. She had the saddle on, but at this point I wanted to do it.
Mhm.
Walking before you're under saddle is going to make it easier. If you can't do it leading them, yours are not riding donkeys. But
Right.
if you can't do it leading them, you probably can't do it from their back.
Sure.
So there I'm trying to get her to go across this. There's all these horse people watching us. And she's like, yeah, I don't think that's a good idea, right? So I got one foot on it and we walked away.
Mm.
And then we're all walking away and I'm like, back. So then I went back and there's nobody watching. And you know what she did? Hopped right up on there. So confidence building, and it's okay to step away from it and come back. When you go backcountry, will you be by yourself or with other people?
A mix. I tend to hunt solo quite a bit, but I'm hopeful that I can get a couple buddies to join me on my elk hunt
cool.
at least. But yeah, but I do a lot. I do like solo hunt myself.
Are you gonna use like over the saddle panniers, or are you gonna have a tree?
So I've got a set of sawbucks right now with individual panniers with what do you call it, the plastic liners for the inside too.
Oh, nice.
So,
Okay.
So that's what I've got now, and then I'll be picking up a decker set up the same. On
Oh,
the way home.
nice.
So, yeah. Got some new pack saddles from Mountain Ridge Gear made up.
Something that we learned the hard way packing is you can't be like, well, that feels about the same weight as this. You
Yeah.
got to use a scale
Yeah.
and get fastidious with it on your weight. I
Yeah.
mean, get it dead even. If you got to cut a chunk of meat off this side to put it on this side,
Right.
it'll just save you so much work in the long run.
Those saddles slip.
Yeah, I bought some nice, just easy to use scales that'll make it where you can make sure we're
Yeah,
weighing in right. So yeah.
yeah. I remember many times, oh, that's close enough. Well, no, 3 miles later, you're repacking on a trail.
Yeah.
We normally kept our scale in horn bags.
Uh-huh.
So, do you know what a horn bag
Yep.
is? All right. So, if you guys don't that are watching, it's this little tiny bag that goes right over top of your horn. I don't think any pack saddles have that though.
No.
We typically use over the saddle panniers
Mhm.
because we ride in and then pack out, right? But put them somewhere that's accessible,
Yep.
not packed on the bottom.
Yeah. Well, we've got little pockets right in the front and the back of them, so I can put stuff like that that they grab quick and easy out of it. So that should be good.
Totally keep that accessible.
Mm.
There's when we used to go backcountry where we hunted at, there were so many stories of all of the gear, sleeping bags, guns,
Yeah.
from horses running through there getting upset or you know.
There was some crazy stories there. Yeah, people will be out on foot hunting, like, oh, here's a rifle. A little bit later, oh, here's a Sitka jacket. Here's some binoculars. And what someone's animal blew up and
Yeah.
took off and scattered a whole sporting goods store with the equipment across the mountain.
Not good.
Lots of practice ahead of time.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The nice thing about with the donkeys is if they blow up, they're gonna stop where you can see them. They're not gonna head to their county. They generally don't. We never have had them do that. They run a short distance, hide, and evaluate the situation.
That's the normal, very normal for a donkey. A horse, you might not find it till you get to the next county.
Yeah, horse is gonna run a considerable distance before it turns to evaluate.
And then a mule couldn't be anywhere on that spectrum.
Anywhere in the middle, yeah.
Totally. Ground tying is a nice thing for backcountry camping.
Yeah, I've looked at pickets, and then I've made myself a little portable electric fence setup where I took the fence posts and cut them in half, and I've got epoxy deal in the center so I can fit them in the panniers, and then just a small little solar charger for it. Obviously haven't got to use it yet, but that would be something we'd definitely practice on quite a bit at home before we took it out there. But talking with some other folks, that they've had some really good luck with that setup, keeping them at campings.
No, there's different terminology. Now, we talk about ground tying. It may be a pickup line. It's a spike into the ground. That we've done that quite a bit. That's the least amount of equipment. You know, they make a nice, you can get them at Murdoch's or whatever. They're a spike about that long, so it's cool to head up there. We've had really good luck with that.
Okay.
Now, when we first started using them, we had a long section of chain and then a section of rope. But Hannah's horse wasn't very accustomed to it, got scared and took off running and broke, right? So it's trailing this giant rope behind it like a snake. We ended up by getting rid of the rope because it always stayed on top of the grass. So then they were more likely to get tangled in it.
Yeah, a lightweight dog chain. Because
Okay.
it doesn't get, not less likely to get tangled and wrapped in the grass. So that's how we end up evolved. We evolved to that.
Okay.
And for that, when we're training them to do that, leading them by the foot, I haven't done that with yours yet. But leading them by the foot, you put a rope, a soft rope around their foot, and then you just ask them to start off with, you're just asking them to pick up their foot.
Okay.
And then eventually you could literally lead them by their foot with a rope around their foot.
Yep.
And when we attach them to that line, the ground tying line, then we just bring them to the end of the chain so they can find it and feel it. Oh, I'm connected. And we do that in a circle, both directions. Like Stormy, who's done this a gazillion times, every time we do it, we still help him find the end. We want no surprises with him.
Is there grazing where you hunt that?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then I also bought some rope hobbles to use as well, just for grazing hobbles.
Yeah.
They probably haven't had that yet, but that'd be something we'd slowly work into.
Did you bring them with?
I did. Yeah.
We can play with that stuff for sure. Then all of that stuff starts with leading them by the foot.
Yeah, that'd be a good progression. Lead them by each front foot. Once you're good with that, getting rid of the hobbles. It should be easy.
And the hobbles, when they do it, they can learn to run with those. Kind of funny.
It's kind of hopping along.
Yeah, they can get pretty fast. So when we don't use hobbles too much, but when we use them, like it's not use them and then go hunting.
Right.
It's like maybe you're saddling or you're in camp doing stuff that you can
Big lunch break, something like that. Just letting them kind of chill out and have a little snack to your head.
Getting donkeys used to other people, especially wild donkeys, I think that's going to be something to work towards. And that way, if you're backcountry with somebody else, you want that person to have understanding.
Yeah, here, hold my donkey while you gotta go do something real quick. That's something I think we probably still underestimate daily is how the stranger dangers of somebody new coming to interact with a donkey that's just fine with us. And it's like, you're back at ground zero. It's like, oh my gosh, there's a stranger. Is he gonna eat me? You know, what's going on? But the more people you interact with, they build that coping skill, and then it shouldn't be an issue in the future.
Okay. What about just interacting with other animals on the trail? Like you're hiking down the trail and here comes a deer running across the trail, or something like that, or cows. Like you're out when they've got a grazing allotment. Like, are they gonna go? Are they pretty comfortable with that, or is it no? Yeah.
So when we had riding and she saw cows, she would come to a dead stop. The first time I had got off and I was walking because I was just conditioning her, and we'll talk about conditioning too. But I was just hand walking her. Hannah was riding Stormy, and came to a complete stop. So I'm leading, we're just chugging along, and all of a sudden, she's not coming with me. Well, way off in the distance, she had seen cattle. And so she was afraid. So I let her pause. And then I said, all right, we're walking again. And then in Arizona, we saw there was some big cattle in Arizona when we were riding. And she got pretty pokey when she saw the cattle. Now, once they're used to it and they've like assessed that they're not in danger, they will no longer be pokey. However, sometimes they need to learn that they're going to have to go when you ask, right? Because sometimes we're on a mission and sometimes we're training. But we want to train them often enough, long enough that they already know what the expectations are when we're actually doing the real thing.
Mhm.
Like Seamus doesn't respond to them anymore, but he used to.
Yeah, they're gonna stop and analyze and go, is that a danger? Is it a threat? And eventually they'll get numb to it.
Sure.
Yeah, it won't be an issue for long.
Okay. Just maybe another thing I can get them some exposure to before I head to the woods. If I've got some neighbors or something, I got some cattle, maybe I can go and
Yeah,
lead them around through their pastures or something, just to get some
Yep.
of that interaction on
Yep.
that too.
get familiar with the scent, the sight.
Uh-huh.
And then just because they've seen cattle in one spot doesn't necessarily mean they're not going to be nervous about
Right.
cattle in another. So be prepared for watching to see how they're reacting. Or when they slow down, look to see where they're looking because it'll probably
Yeah,
tell you what they
right.
see. Or maybe it's an elk.
Yeah.
It could be an elk.
Yeah, if you're out when you're hunting and you're with your livestock, if they lock into something that's a mile away on a hillside, pick that hillside apart. They got great eyes. They see something over there.
Sure.
In their ears.
Yep.
You know, the first time I took Seamus backcountry hunting, he was wearing a pack saddle empty because he was still in his training stage. And I did not know that horses were afraid of donkeys.
Mm.
So I have our son who is like 8. So we're hiking with Seamus, and there's this wall, and then there's kind of a pretty steep decline, right? And 2 horses came up alongside of us. So I thought, well, I'll just get up against this wall. I'm out of the horse's way so they can go around us. And all of a sudden, those horses went like down and then back up. They were terrified of the donkey.
Huh.
And I didn't know that. So
Okay.
be prepared for that.
Okay.
Our donkeys here have had lots of experience through the fence with horses and mules, so
Sure.
it shouldn't be an episode.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of horse people out there who have been hunting for years and years and years in the same place, have never seen a donkey on the trail. It'll get their attention.
Yeah.
They smell different. And they might, like your donkeys might slow down from it. Like when we were doing drill team last year, I started off with awe because I want to do all that stuff with her. She's not ready though. But somebody would be like, well, do you want me to come up behind you to help Aw go faster? It doesn't help her go fast. It helps her freeze because that's their go-to response.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just slows down.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes, the going up is very different for them versus going down.
Sure. Right.
So if you're going down something steep, I would zigzag and I would condition them, like condition the heck out of them. I think people underestimate, like they look big and strong, right?
Right.
But still their muscles get tired just like ours. So conditioning would be taking them on hikes, putting those, I think they're called trotting poles. Like I have logs out here to do it where they have to step over and pick up their feet.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So using that kind of stuff. I don't lunge them. So a lot of horse people will put their horse on the end of a lunge line and then just make them go in circles
Oh.
for maybe a long time.
Okay.
We don't do that with donkeys.
Yeah.
A donkey wants to have a reason for what it's doing, and it's going to kind of tell you to hit the road.
Yeah,
Okay.
after one trip around, you're gonna notice the donkey starting to be like, what? No, this is, I was just here. This is senseless. Yeah, they'll begin to question your guidance.
Okay. Yeah, as far as like setting up like obstacles like that, like I was thinking about tires, old roto ties, those kinds of things.
Yeah,
Any like other types of obstacles or things I could be setting up to try to get them kind of ready for?
walking on the blue tarp,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
that's a biggie.
Okay.
That's a courage builder.
Right.
And it doesn't, you could just have a 5-gallon pail. You could bring out your propane heater. You can almost have anything. And what I really noticed is that they start off. I think that's my son-in-law. For you watching that can't see, we hear singing in the background. So I'm pretty sure Hannah and Reed are here. I think you can have almost anything. Like I was doing a trail obstacle course with Wild Donkey on, and it was a PVC pipe with a red Solo cup on the top of it, and all you had to do is go pick up the Solo cup off from one pole and put it on another one. She's like, "No way, I'm not doing that. I'm not walking anywhere close to it." A blanket laying on the fence post or on your gate, and then go through your gate. But they can be simple. Like you don't have to go spend an arm and a leg to make obstacles. But
Are you guys all done?
nope.
You're not.
Hey guys, here's Hannah. If you guys can see her, she's coming up in the background.
No, where's the boy?
Are you
Look at that.
Trying out a fresh batch of beers.
Oh,
Nice.
look at those. We're showing the camera over there.
We'll see how far I can go over there without losing.
I'm big breathing there.
Look at you.
Oh, they look sharp though.
See if I still have service. I can't even tell if I have service right now. If it goes off, you guys, it's because. Okay.
Hey guys. Oh, looking nice, Reed.
Nice panniers. Tell us about your panniers, Reed.
Well, they're the second set I've ever made. They're all heavy, as heavy duty canvas as I can find. Good durable leather on the ends, and all the straps are leather. Every buckle on there is a roller buckle. There's no conway buckles to be found.
Nice.
Those of you who know will know that conway buckles suck. They do. That's the only way to say it. Should be able to fit quite a decent amount of stuff in there.
I think so.
Feed bags and all sorts of stuff. We just have some coats and such stuffed in there right now because we're just going out to take pictures. So
Okay.
yeah,
Oh, you got perfect time of day that goes like that.
Are you riding too, Hannah? What are you gonna do?
take
I'm just taking
pictures.
Oh, nice.
Is she gonna ride Bruce with the panniers on?
Well, I thought maybe she's gonna go grab herself a donkey.
I don't mind.
She could get on there. I could pony her around.
Okay. I can get in a pair.
Yeah.
I get in one side, you get the other side, Mom.
Oh, that sounds like that should be fun.
Yep. So really just putting them on and doing a little bit of modeling.
Very nice.
Yes.
Where can they find you, Reed?
They can find me on Facebook or
At
Instagram
Reed
at
Bike
Reed,
Saddlery.
at Reed Bike Saddlery, or they can call me 406-654-7669.
I'll put that in the description too, guys.
Not super. If it was for donkeys, it'd take me a while to kind of figure out what's right for them. But if you want a big set of panniers for a horse or a mule, give me a shout.
You could probably use these on a donkey that just fill 'em up.
They might be too big.
Could be some.
Well, we'll have to find out.
I've got a brand new set in the trailer we could compare them to.
We could do that.
Oh yeah, that would be good to see.
Because for Seamus, we've always put the same panniers that we use on the horses.
But Seamus he is an anomaly because he's so round.
Yeah, his back is about
They
2
calling him
acres.
fat?
He's got a back like a grand piano.
Well, very nice panniers, Reed.
Thank you.
So that I see leather and canvas.
Yep. Body is out of canvas and the ends are out of leather to give it some shape.
Yes, very nice.
Very nice.
Yeah. Should be good.
All right. I have a good photo odyssey.
Oh, there's cows back there right now. So
I don't see.
We'll be back to chat once we're done.
okay,
good.
sounds good. All right, I think I'm good, and we're all still on the camera. Is there any comments?
Nope.
You you guys have any questions, make sure you put them in the chat. We are by no means like packing experts. We have packed though.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. We have more experience than no experience. Yeah.
We did quite a few years of packing backcountry hunting.
Yeah.
But then since we moved here, we've been using the boat.
Oh, yeah,
lately.
nice.
Hopefully this fall we'll get some opportunity to do some packing back here.
I would love that.
Yeah, I pulled a pretty good tag this year for here.
Nice.
So there's some state land about 2 miles east of here.
Okay.
It's not a big country, but it'll be big enough to pack out with it out.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Have you ever had any, reaction to having a meat on them or anything like that? An adverse reaction to that? Just
We haven't.
no.
But we practiced it. Except we had one seasoned pack meal, saddle meal that had packed for 20 years. But everyone else, we did the courtesy of let them smell a deer hide. Just don't throw it on.
Yeah.
Give them a
Except for
courtesy.
Seamus, he's the only one. He didn't get any of that courtesy. I just threw a deer on him. Like literally.
Had he not packed meat before? That's right.
That's why I was so obsessed with it. I wanted to put a deer on his back. I didn't put any saddle on. I just grabbed his halter and we went and got it.
I came back from hunting 20 miles from here. It's dark out. It's cold when it's like really windy, 3 degrees. It was cold. We heat with wood. I get home, I'm like, oh, just man, it's more fire. I'll get some dinner going. He's gonna feel good. I come up the driveway and the barn light's on. I'm like, well, why is the barn light on? Get to the house, there's no lights on. Walk in the house, it's like I can almost see my breath. I'm like, what is going on? This is just as she was coming through the yard with a doe she had shot the back end of the property. You've actually broke a thumb.
I did break my
Oh
thumb.
gosh.
I didn't know I broke my thumb. I figured I just jammed it. Getting that doe up on Seamus's back. He's not tall. He's 12'3".
Yeah.
So that's 12 hands, 12.3 hands. He's not very tall, and the deer was just a deer. And when you're looking at donkeys or elk, seem really small.
Yeah.
But it's so hard to put her up there.
A lot of dead weight.
Yeah. But she did. She got that.
That's cool.
Yeah. I got a fire going too. I eventually got the house one.
Yeah. I know that feeling.
Well, Seamus is snow white. He's white as one of these chairs. I don't know how many times she had that deer on and it must have fallen off. Seamus was covered in blood. He looked like he personally killed that deer. Yeah. He was happy. That was a happy donkey.
He was happy.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't believe he let me do that. So that's there just like a testament to the more you do with your donkey, the more they trust you. And then all of a sudden it doesn't matter what you do
Yeah.
because they trust you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was a huge learning moment because when we got the crazy mules, and the reason we call them crazy mules is we knew that they were project mules. But when we told the town folks that we got these 2 mules, they looked at me and said, "You got the crazy mules?" Like,
The crazy mules.
oh yeah.
The vet comes out to give him a shot. Oh, these mules. They had a reputation in the area. We were new to the area.
Quite notorious meals. Huh?
Yeah.
So when
But
we
they taught us a lot.
they did teach us a lot. That's when we really started to try to learn more and then understand it. But we were doing stuff to like desensitize the crazy mules, and I'm like, well, let's grab Seamus. He's afraid of that. I always have to tie him up and give him oats to do that. So we'll grab Seamus and put him in the barn, and whatever we would present, he's like, whatever, you can do it. I don't care. Like he was no longer afraid of
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. No, he's fearless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't mean he's always willing.
Right.
So sometimes you have to get after them to be like, you understand what the question is, you understand the answer, and when they say no, then you have to get after them sometimes. But you got to make sure they understand the question first.
Seamus has really evolved over the last decade. He's to that point where he might protest or come up with a different idea about what you should be doing. But once a trained donkey knows you're going to make them do it, they're just going to do it. They're like, wow, let's just get this over with. But it'll take them a while to get to that point that, okay, they'll give you a little protest over crossing the creek at a different spot. But once they know that you're going to make them do it and we're doing this, so they go, okay, all right.
And I think the key with making them do it is as soon as they offer some kind of try, you release. So you don't put on the pressure until they've crossed the creek. You put on the pressure until they lean forward and then you release the pressure and then you ask again.
And I always watch that back leg. You know, I'm catch myself all the time. I'm trying to get one to lead and take steps. I'm always watching those front feet. Those back feet are just as important. So if you're wanting them to come forward like at a creek and you're looking for a little bit of a try to give them a release, make sure you recognize action on those back feet. If you might be looking at those front feet, waiting for them to take a step. The step you get might be a back foot, and treat that the same as the front foot.
You're gonna have so many adventures. What's the first thing you're gonna do?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure, you know, as soon as my wife gets back, we'll be working with them in the pasture, and then we're gonna be looking to do some overnight camping trips, car camping trips with
yeah.
them, just to get out, just do day hikes with them, and just kind of keep getting them out as much as we can this summer to, like you say, get them conditioned and a lot of it's just us getting comfortable with it too. Like, you've been training the donkeys, and now I need you to train me, kind of thing. So I gotta
Yeah.
get comfortable with them and filling with it and everything else too. So I don't want my first trip to be when it counts training
Right.
elk hunt either. So
Yeah.
So you're going to put the work in this summer and have a really fun fall.
I hope so. That's the plan.
Yeah, you got plenty of time. So.
So let's talk about a release because when you're doing something new and they get kind of balled up, they can hold 3 rabbits right now and they got to their 3rd. So then how do you release it? You just got done crossing some deadfall or something. Part of that release is just walking and not asking them any questions. You ask them to walk and they're just like, what's over there? And they're walking and you don't ask them any questions. And while that's happening, they're letting out those rabbits. So now they can accept another rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're like, when we're walking, we're trying to get them to speed up or slow down. Well, now we're asking them a question. But if they're willing to walk, their break doesn't always have to be standing still.
Good.
I think that was confusing to me before. Heck, it probably still gets confusing to me sometimes. But it must be done already.
Quick photo shoot. One of the things you always hear folks talk about is like how much weight can they carry? You know, it seems like 20% of their body weight is what you hear a lot.
For
But-
packing,
Yeah, does that stick pretty standard? Do you think?
for packing, I would stick to that guideline. You know, for riding, you can go up to a higher percentage, but that's with a balanced rider. That donkey has to balance that load. So to minimize stress on the donkey and frustration for yourself, try and stick around that 20%.
And when you very first start, like for instance, practicing this stuff, when I would bring out Vander, I would bring him out with nothing on.
Right.
Then I brought him out with a saddle on. Then he came back, and then we went back out later on with a pannier on. So we're graduating because each one of those things is a rabbit.
Right.
So we don't want to throw all the rabbits at him at one time. And like when we were walking around and he had the panniers and the saddle on, they were kind of clanking. It was making noise. He handled it fine, but I just don't want to throw too much at one time.
Right. Yeah. And then just slowly start building up the weight and just kind of
Absolutely.
get conditioned and
Yep.
just like us. I'm
You
gonna
know-
be doing the same thing.
You know, a new pack animal, you know, it's going to be a weird feeling for them to have, we got, 10 pounds on one side, down on the other while you're by yourself. That uneven balance. You'll see them stumble a little bit,
Right.
trying to get your footing.
As you're loading the panniers, you're saying,
Yeah.
With Seamus, I think when we first started packing him, he carried water. Like, was it a gallon on each side or 2 gallons on each side?
It was something like that. It was pretty minimal.
Yeah.
Like 20 pounds. Like
Sure.
we kept it really light. And then we would introduce girth, like the sleep bags or pads.
Uh-huh.
That was separate. Like we introduced all that because then now they're walking around and they
Yeah.
see this. I'm like, oh my God. And then they got to figure out how to go around trees with this on.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I could see that getting interesting real quick.
With Seamus, one thing that I found interesting was he was taught to walk with his head by my shoulder. But when you're backcountry, that doesn't work,
Right.
right? So now he had to walk behind me. That was so confusing. He's like, no, I walk here. I'm like, no, I need you back there. And that took a while of asking him to back up, to situate him.
Okay.
When those things happen, don't be mad that he's being like naughty or belligerent or anything like that. He's just gotta learn another way. I think it'd be fun to tie the two together and then pack,
Yeah, I mean, that's ultimately would be the goal, is to be able
Yeah.
to string them together and lead them. Yeah, that's the idea.
and with that, I think it's good to pay attention to who's braver.
Mm-hmm.
I would want to put the bravest one in the back, and I would want the one that's more timid in my hands.
Okay, interesting. I guess I would have thought the opposite. Just, I don't know why intuitively maybe having that stronger one leading the weaker one in the pack, but having control of that more timid one is probably more important.
But I think it's a preference. When you listen to, or I have listened to podcasts like with professional packers,
Uh-huh.
they all have their own, where they want the problem child in the string is different based on just how they function
Sure,
best.
yeah.
So it's totally a preference thing, or you try it one way and you notice if one is breaking the tie, and
Right. One
then
just naturally leads better than the other. Sure. Yeah, that's definitely the going down the packing rabbit hole. Like, you talk to one outfitter and they're going to tell you one way, and you talk to 20
Yeah.
others and they're all going to tell you a different way.
Exactly.
There's a lot of preference of how you do anything, whether it's
Yep.
sawbucks versus deckers and manis versus panniers and all on and on. It's just a
Right.
whole thing, for sure.
Yep. Yeah, all the principles the same. It's the methodology that you're going to see the big variety in. Absolutely.
tell us about this book that you brought.
Oh, so this is from Shane Wiegand he's out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. He's got New Mexico Pack Burros is his website, and he's just became an advocate for burros in the Southwest in New Mexico. And he's the one that I got into down this road. I started out looking at llamas and then found the burros. Being in New Mexico, burros just are part of the
Yeah.
history, and it all just lined up really well. And so Shane's done a really great job of building up New Mexico Pack Burros there, and he puts on a handful of clinics in the spring where you can go and just do a 1-day clinic with him and get kind of hands-on experience with them. And it just helped build our confidence in myself and my wife a little bit, and get us around the animals. And so, so then his class is basically just kind of teaching you the book a little bit, but the book goes into a lot of history of the burros and just different equipment you can use for packing with them, and it tells a story of him packing on the Colorado Trail for a summer and spending, I think, a month on the trail with his donkeys and hiking across the
That's
mountains.
awesome.
It's just really neat. So he's been a big inspiration in us, and he's started a whole pack burro racing series in New Mexico now. I think they're up to like 6 races that he's got organized. And
Oh,
he's
fantastic.
started a whole bunch of stuff there, and so that's pretty neat. So my wife's really interested in doing the pack burro racing, and so we're interested to see which one of these guys is going to be fit for that too. And so so it's been really helpful in just kind of getting us kind of on the journey, I guess, because there's just a lot of different avenues to kind of get information. So it was really nice to find someone local that we could talk to, and then he kind of pointed us in your guys' direction too, and kind of just let us know that you were out there, and it was just been really neat. Yeah, it's really neat.
Fantastic.
We should hold the book up to the
Sure.
camera so people can see
Yeah.
it. And I'll try to find a link to put in there.
Yeah, it's on Amazon. You just search for it on Amazon, it'll show up there. It's all over the place. So
Let's see, and then next his name. Or maybe I should hold it this way. Shane. Awesome.
yeah.
So any questions on there?
There is not.
People are quiet tonight.
We've been so thorough that we've answered all the questions before they could be asked.
All right, guys. Well, I think we are gonna hit the road then.
Yep.
We have a gentling camp to start tomorrow, which is gonna be awesome.
So excited. Very excited.
Yeah.
A gentling camp, if you guys don't know, it's where you come here to work with your wild donkey. We have wild donkeys here at Famous Seamus Farm. And sometimes you could get one that's gentled or completely wild, and we'll help you through your journey.
Yeah, you can start with one that's never been touched. And hopefully we get you almost touching it by the end of the week. In this case, we're working with donkeys that were freshly gentled about a month ago, and we spent the last month introducing them to packing and big scary things outside the training pens.
So we're here to help you guys, And we're super happy that you're here, Shane. I mean, I'm the dork. All the names. Why did I say Shane?
That was the
book
book.
was
It's
Shane.
Yeah.
We all know it. There's too many names. All these donkeys have their own name.
I don't know how you keep them all straight. I was telling you out there. They all look the same to me, but I'm
Yeah.
sure after you look at them long enough, you can tell them all apart. But
It takes a little bit of time to tell them apart, that's for sure. Well, we're glad
Alright.
that you're here, Chris. I'm
happy
sorry.
to be here. Thanks for having me. It's great. Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
All right, guys, we'll see you on the next one.